really is a tongue twister. It's a mouthful. Like, it really is. Like, I don't.
Oh, you just turn around. And then we just walked in and I was like, what the fuck?
It's a mouthful.
I look up and see Peter just tried to roll it away from us or towards us. It was still the same game plan. Son of a... The Ultra4 car was a whole nother animal. It was upside down, down between trees with driver's side, left rear, hooked on a tree. He put it in a perfect little nook. I wish it was on film of him going in there. He hit the berm where he was supposed to make a left turn. He said he checked up on the brakes for a hot second, didn't realize exactly where he was on the track, and he launched off of it. Oh, that was so good. Which means as he launched, he flipped the nose over and landed upside down in there and then immediately got hung by the tree, which had to be violent. I really wish there was footage of that. That was probably a wild ride. So we have to get the car upright, but we couldn't until we slid it up the hill about 3 feet to clear that tire. I put a 4-part line to the front of it. I tend to over rig when I rig. I mean, I'd rather over rig and save my equipment than under rig and potentially break something. A lot of people tend to overload their winch and their winch lines just by throwing a straight line winch to something and pulling on it until the winch stalls. If you're stalling your winch, you are not putting enough rigging in to be safe. It's all about lines to the load. When you get lines to the load, that's how you make small equipment do bigger stuff. For instance, Matt from Offroad's Recovery in Florida just pulled out a 1.5 that didn't have any power or anything to it with a Jeep. And he was able to do that because I believe he hooked an 8-part line up to a tree. He just stretched out his winch line to 70 feet or so and then ran his 4 snatch blocks on each side and made an 8-part line. That's the stuff I like to see. He actually looked at the rigging and looked at his thought process before he just went out and started tugging and pulling on it. That kind of stuff is what really needs to be paid attention to in our industry. A lot of people go out and just hook the stuff and think that, you know, oh, well, if it doesn't move, then I can't do it. You can really move the world with snatch blocks and pulleys, and it's proven time and time again. With that car being 6,000 pounds, roughly, let's just throw it out there. That car needs, you roughly need 4,000 pounds of strength to pull that car with the wheels locked up and everything of that nature. Car weighs 6,000 pounds. My rope is good for 2,300 pounds. So in theory, I was in the working load limit of the synthetic rope at probably 3 parts. I put the 4th part in there and I'm glad I did because the wrecker only weighs 6,000 pounds roughly. So the anchorability of the wrecker did not have enough to hold that car. When I did the 4-part line, I put 3 lines to the tree. The last line came to me, which then caused the tree to hold more weight than my wrecker. And it kept me in the safe working load limits of all my rigging. We decided we were gonna roll it towards us, but the problem was there was 2 other trees that were in our way. What we ended up doing is Sam Fabian from Cool Meadows Motorsports pull up and hook a line to it to start rolling it. We got the car off the tree. I originally wanted to roll the wheels away from us because of the trees that were towards us. I was hoping we were gonna kind of spin it, grab lower on the cage and flip it back so the roof came towards us and then back to its wheels, but it didn't want to do that. We had a snatch block off of Tom Major's truck the Dakota go back to a tree, snatch block back to the back side of it, try to help it roll towards us. Sam's synthetic rope had plenty of years of racing and everything on it. Didn't really expect it to break, but it ended up breaking. We ended up moving Tom's truck to where Sam was. But the one tree was just really in our way, and then we had another truck there that actually was the owner of the Bronco, had a hitch receiver winch in. So we decided that we were gonna tie that to the tree and do some tree bending. The tire really needed like 6 inches to get past it, and it did not want to pass it. So we ended up pulling that tree just enough that it got past it. We got it back to its wheels. I moved the tow truck over next to where Tom was, and I held the cage, and then we had Tom winch it back up the embankment. And once we got it up on the embankment, we did some checks to it and checked its oil and stuff. It actually didn't leak any oil out or anything like that. It was rather impressive. And the guy hopped in it and cranked it over, and it spun without being hydrolocked. So he hit the switch, and the thing fired right up. It smoked for a minute, but not too bad at all. When he got hooked on that tree, that was the biggest downfall. There was no chance that we could maybe pull it down into the valley even further and flip it over down where the Bronco was, because it was pretty open down there. It had to come up. When we were trying to roll it, you have to be safe when you're thinking about all this kinetic energy that is saved up. I know the synthetic ropes really do hold. The line doesn't snap and go flying. We all know that. Still the same working load limits. Like, you have to be thoughtful when you're hooking to stuff and be as safe as possible, because any breakage could, you know, let's say the winch line stayed together, but the soft shackle broke. You're still got rigging that's got potential energy in it to go flying. But that moment, if we had a chainsaw, it would have probably changed that whole recovery. If we could have cut that first tree out of the way, I bet you we could have rolled it right there and let it fall back down in the valley and winched it out of the valley. It would have been way easier than what we had to do. But then it wouldn't be as exciting for everybody watching.
Good work, fellas.
Hope you guys really enjoyed that recovery. That was a tough one. We had to fight some major obstacles to get that one out that we had to overcome to get that car out of there. It had a lot of hard angles and tight spacing and everything else we had to do. We had some major rigging, we had some good friends, we had some hard things to figure out. At the end of the day, we got it done. We got him out of a tough spot. The car starts, runs, and drives, wasn't damaged. We had a blast doing it. It would have been a lot more difficult to try to get a piece of equipment, machinery, or something back there to get that out. So thank you very much. Like, subscribe, follow, the whole nine, share with a friend, enjoy everything. Thank you for watching.
Let's do the outro.
Outro. Hey guys, hope you. I really need to make a cheat sheet. What we should do is just end the roll thing and just ding 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 ding. Hey,